Councillor Wright, thank you so much for sitting down with me. We are on day 3 of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. Why is it important for yourself, a councillor from the great district of MacKenzie, to be here in Ottawa advocating about municipal issues on a federal level?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I'm a big believer in these organizations that bring together communities like this, right? So UBCM, you were just at NCLG a couple weeks ago, and then FCM's the biggest one, right? Because you get all across the country, and the issues that us as municipalities are facing are huge, but they're not always unique, right? So like what we're dealing with in MacKenzie, I'm sure there's communities in New Brunswick also dealing with it, and communities in Ontario. So I find first connecting with like-minded communities is important, just to see what they're doing and steal their ideas. And if we want to advocate successfully, we're much stronger together, which is the theme of the whole conference, right? And I didn't do that on purpose, but
sure you did. So what do you take back now? Because that's the big thing about these conventions, is you can go to all these conventions, but the taxpayer will go, what did you get? What did you bring back? Because you're using our tax dollars to go there. So what are you bringing back to the District of MacKenzie to ensure that the people feel like their voices, their advocacy work that you've been putting in isn't just going on deaf ears?
Yeah. So I think there's two big things that we get from these when you as an individual politician, when you attend one of these things. And the first, and it sounds minute, but it's not, is the networking, like the connections you make at these events. Should I be looking at you or the camera? Sorry.
No,
me? Okay, sorry.
And that's staying in, dude. That's staying in the whole time.
I just realized halfway through I didn't know what I should be looking at. But yeah, it's the relationships you build, right? So the fact that now we just went on a tour of some urban wetlands with Ducks Unlimited, so now I have contacts with Ducks Unlimited. I met some FCM staff, and I met councillors who also are interested in that kind of environmental stewardship and that kind of flood mitigation and endangered species stuff. So now I have contacts, right? And I got their business cards and emails, hear what they're doing in their municipalities, best practices that I can then, again, steal and bring to MacKenzie. So that's I find that when even like the trade show, like you get to meet all these different organizations that have something to offer, right? That maybe, like I'm trying to think of one, I was stopped at a booth that was dealing with like overhead lighting, and we have issues in our community of people being mad the lights are too bright sometimes, right? And like they have ones there that you can dim. Like, well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was an option, right? Wow. So you learn things that maybe we didn't know before. And then the second thing, and it kind of relates to that, is best practices, right? So you're learning what other municipalities are doing, and you can steal from them, and just learning who are at the forefront of these issues, doing really exciting things. Because sometimes we get so focused on our own municipalities, we forget that like other people are doing the exact same thing, and let's see what they're doing. So
what are those common practices that you're hearing about? Because the issues of the District of MacKenzie are probably a little bit different, but they're similar. Yeah. And let's be honest, like mental health addiction, homelessness, rural and remote healthcare. What are the big issues that you're hearing that are connecting municipalities in British Columbia like yourself, the District of MacKenzie, to a New Brunswick municipality, or are there any?
Oh, 100%. There's a whole bunch. The couple things that come to mind is, and we heard it with our keynotes yesterday, is the sustainable long-term funding model that we need, right? Like none of these one-off, like all of us municipalities are struggling. There's funding for one-offs, but there's nothing that's long-term for our structural challenges, right? And I think Mayor Sutcliffe put it quite well yesterday during his opening address. Is like we were designed 100 years ago, but we've never. I'm butchering what he said, but it's like there are funding mechanisms were designed 100 years ago, but then we've got problems that they couldn't even have predicted back when they designed a municipality, right? So that kind of like structural change, I know FCM's really advocating for that structural long-term funding to come to municipalities, right? So that's one thing. And then like I'll give you another tangible example of I was sat in a concurrent session yesterday about communications, which I thought was wonderful. So it was a smaller thing, but it's just learning like, sometimes when you're so local, you rely on what's been done in the past of like what are best practices for social media and Facebook and LinkedIn and getting messages out there, right? But then to have it literally a subject matter expert kind of tell you things, it just helps reinforce either A, challenges your own assumptions, or reinforces that, maybe the things I've been advocating for are good. So it's that kind of like getting backup for supporting your own arguments.
So my last question, and it's kind of an important one. Is this your first FCM?
It is, yeah.
Okay. So was it worth? Because many municipal leaders are thinking, okay, is FCM worth the time to go out here, spend the money to come out here? From your perspective, as this is your first convention you've been at, do you feel like you're getting the value worth? And are you better off as a councillor today than you were when you first came to FCM?
I am 100% a better elected official today than I was yesterday, and I was better after yesterday than I was the day before. I find these events so beneficial, and like I understand the taxpayers' argument, but I think if we don't go to events like this and we don't learn what's happening, then we're fighting all these major challenges we have as municipalities with an arm tied behind our back, right? Because like, what other opportunity do you have to have all these like-minded people in a room together to learn from them? So that's 100% of value. And I think in order for long-term structural change, organizations like FCM, I'm from BC, so UBCM, I'm on the board of the NCLGA, as you were just there. Like, those are the key organizations because they can bring us all together and speak as one voice. Like I think it's 100% worth every penny.
Well, that's exactly how I'm going to leave it. Councillor Wright, thank you so much. I look forward to visiting you up in the district of MacKenzie later on, and hopefully we'll grab a coffee and then see each other in Prince George later on. Well, see you in Victoria in September, but see you in Prince George in 2026.
Yeah, that's a good. You're coming back, so that's good. That's a commitment. That's good.
I'm coming back to the full thing this time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for having me.